Oh, shoot.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Damn Podcast. I'm your host, Angie Machado. Joined with me, as always, is Spencer Newell, Doan, Cass Smith. Sorry about the little bumpy intro there. I'm still trying to figure out getting that all set up right. It'll be right next time. But we are back for another episode of the Damn Podcast. A lot to talk about, guys. We're gonna talk about Oregon and kind of crunch through that. Rewind. We're gonna then maybe do a little different. I put down in our rundown a bunch of stats. I want us to look down. We are a third of the way through the season right now. I think it's a really good chance to kind of see from a stat point of view where the Beavs are at and kind of compared to our opponents. And then we're going to take some damn questions. Sandwich in there, though, we are going to do a new feature called Hot Takes. I'm going to throw you some hot takes. I know Kaz is ready for this because this was Kaz's idea. So I'm excited to see what the group has. Guys, how are we? Davis?
Good.
Corvallis treating you good?
Yeah, it's been nice today.
Okay.
Last week.
Okay. So you're in Corvallis. School classes start Wednesday. What's going on right now? Is this work week? Is that what's going on right now?
Yeah, like this last week was work week.
Okay. And rush, does that start for the guys?
It starts next week. Like
Okay.
rush week is next week.
Okay. It's so different. I was old. We always had rush week the week before school started. So hey, Spencer, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I feel good about this week. So
Okay.
that's my
Spencer
intro
is
take.
super positive right now. Cass, how are you?
Great. No complaints. Weather's good.
Bend,
Yeah.
how is Bend? You're coming to us from Bend.
Yeah, it's good. It's perfect here. It's like 75.
Okay. Did you get the rain yesterday?
No? Yeah, actually a little bit.
Okay. Well, we are ready to talk some Civil War, 129th Civil War. You know, guys, we're going to jump in. I know we're going to talk offense first. Offense only managed 147 total yards, 8 total first downs, and that was 1 in the whole entire second half. They couldn't do anything. They did have the one good drive that led to the touchdown. Is this a personnel issue? Is this a scheme issue? What are your thoughts on that? We'll start with Spencer on that.
I think it's both, but I think it starts with a personnel issue. It's you look at Oregon, and their number 2 and 3 guys on the depth chart could probably start for us. You know, when you line up talent versus, you know, our talent versus their talent, it just, you know, it might, and it did work for the first quarter. That was the best quarter of football we've played yet. But I mean, we just don't have the depth that they do, you know, so they can rotate guys in and out and like quick substitutions and that sort of thing. And I don't know, I feel like without the personnel, like the schemes aren't going to matter as much, right? So I think it starts with that, to be honest.
Kaz, what are your thoughts?
I think it's both, but I think it's more scheme than personnel.
Okay.
I mean, you've seen a handful of wide receivers put up 100-yard games. Malik, you know, set records at Duke last year and in a harder ACC, you know, and I just think it's coming down to Gunderson running the right plays and the right schemes, and I don't think it's fitting our personnel correctly.
Okay, but I'll throw this out. Spencer said personnel. You're saying scheme. Did Malik have more talent around him at Duke?
That I don't really know. I don't know
I mean,
the receivers he had or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of chicken and the egg. Davis, what are your thoughts?
I'd say versus Oregon, it was definitely just personnel. I mean, their roster's built with $40 million, so they're gonna have better personnel. But in general, I don't know. I mean, I'd say some more scheme. I mean, our offense has looked good at times. I mean, we've put up good yardage, good numbers in games, but I mean, special teams like that, all that whole thing, that's part of that falls down into scheme.
Yeah. Special teams. That's another. We'll have that after we talk offense, defense. Coach Gunderson or Coach Bray met with the media today, kind of to talk through things. There was some talk about the running game because Oregon State still couldn't manage, to get the running game going. Coach Kavanaugh met with the media last week, and they both kind of talked about the same thing. So, like we've talked about basically every pod is just everything starting up front at the line. And both Kavanaugh and Coach Bray today talked about the O-line not finishing their blocks, that they're starting their blocks, and they're engaging, but then they don't finish them. And they talked about how both coaches talked about that, the youth, and that a lot of these guys, yes, they were transfers, but they didn't see a lot of playing time. So that they're still learning and growing. But I think it's an interesting concept. One of the things I talked about this morning in the That's What She Said article was, it doesn't seem like the offense has an identity. Is this a run to establish the pass? Is this a pass to establish the run? So, Davis, do you think that is because the personnel? They're just trying to whatever they can get?
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit. I mean, I think it just kind of all is like relying. We're all relying. I mean, you rely on your offensive line, and if they can't hold up long enough for you to pass the ball and look downfield or even run the ball, that's not good.
Yeah, in the comments right here, if you guys are watching us live and have comments, please pop them in and we'll try to get to them. Chase R. Oregon says, Duke just lost to Tulane. I don't think the portal matters as much for us lower salary teams. I think that's true. And that brings up a whole another piece of this is the transfer portal. We've seen so many guys in and out. How difficult do you think that is for the offensive players, especially, to come together and kind of just gel? Kaz, do you think that's an issue when you have all these guys? You had guys leave, guys come in. Do you think that's an issue too that both Coach Gunderson is facing, trying to get an offense to get together, and the players working together?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, you also see like Texas Tech, who brought in so many new players and they're firing on all cylinders, beat Utah by 20 plus.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know.
No, it is. It's a quandary. And now, especially the last 2 weeks, we did. Oregon State put up great numbers against Fresno State. That was kind of the anomaly. But against the top tier, top 15 programs, Oregon and Texas Tech, they struggled mightily. There is something. It was interesting before Civil War. I had a quick phone call with Mike Parker, and he called because he wanted to check my notes because he had gone through Oregon's roster and found, I think it was 47 4- or 5-star players on their roster. So he was asking me how many 4- and 5-star Oregon State had, and I was like, well, Malik was a 4-star, and Malachi Grant was a 4-star. I mean, so we came to 5, 4, or high 3-star. It's totally the talent discrepancy is huge too. So first of all, hats off to Oregon, to Texas Tech, and to some of these programs. But end of the day, Oregon State needs to find a way to be more competitive. Defense, Spencer. I know you and I were on the same page with this last week after seeing how they came out in Lubbock, where they did not look like the Coach Bray defense, low energy. What were your thoughts on Saturday?
I don't know if you remember last year, but when we were playing Oregon at home, the game was competitive until Dylan Gabriel broke that 50-yard run. The game was competitive this weekend until Dante Moore broke that 30-yard run on, I think it was 3rd and long, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those plays are just killing us. I mean, we've created momentum in our way every one of these games, and it's just that big play that just can't let happen. And then you go with the fake punt, and that's a whole nother issue too. But I don't know. I just feel like we're close to cleaning that up and playing a complete game. My pick this week, I feel good about it. I think, well, we can talk about that later, but but I also want to give a shout out to Jake's boy, Takari Hickle. He had a great sack.
Yeah, he did.
Jake's been talking about him for a year, straight.
Yeah.
And so
it
was really good to see him make a presence.
Yeah. energy. So you're right. And that just brings up, the defense killed themselves against Texas Tech too, with there were two series that it would have been a 3 and out or got them at 3rd and long, really long, like 25 to 35 yards. And they weren't able to stop them on that. And then one with Oregon. So, and you're right. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but that was a backbreaker too, because when that fake punt happened, it was it was 3rd quarter, right after the half. Oregon State comes out with the ball 3 and out. Oregon gets the ball. The defense holds them to 3rd and long. And then the fake punt gives them a first down and they end up scoring. That to me was the backbreaker then of that game, because you go from being 2 scores down to then 3, and then it starts to seem a mountain that couldn't be climbed. Davis, what were your thoughts as far as an energy and just defensive performance overall?
I think they played one of their better games this season. I think they were just, they had more of a swagger to them. They looked like they were. It looked like the game meant something. It seemed like playing their rival. They really went out there and put out maximum effort. Like it looked like they were running around. Yeah,
it looked like what we saw fall camp.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Kaz, were you happy with the effort there?
I'd say for the first 3 quarters. I mean, the first quarter was great, 7-7 at the end of the first quarter. And then even going into half, that really should have been 14-7 if we stopped them with that 2 minutes left. Then for 4th quarter, it got a little iffy. But overall, I think it was one of the better energy performance from the defense.
Yeah, and then you take that, and I'm going to call you on that because you're right. But then I'm going to play the flip side because we already talked about how inept the offense was.
Mm-hmm.
The defense was on the field 23 minutes in the second half, 23 out of 30.
Wow.
So no defense can stay fresh,
Right.
especially then you go back to Spencer talking about depth, and you go all the things combined, and I think this is kind of becoming the trend that we're seeing. Is kind of like the same kind of things keep rearing their ugly head. So football's a team sport. We've seen the offense not be able to sustain drives, which in turn makes the defense tire out and have to and then special teams. So let's talk about special teams, because I don't know what even, because it goes back to last season as well. That fake punt that we just talked about led to another score. And really it felt like that was the dagger that was like, okay, this game is out of reach. Davis, what are your thoughts just in general now? Special teams, defense. Like I agree with Kaz. This was the best performance we've seen from Oregon State defense. But do you feel that the unit is close? Do you think all 3 aspects, all 3 phases are getting close, or do you think there's still a lot of work to be done?
I think they are close. They really need to tune in on some things, but in general, the defense looks like they look solid. Like they look like they can compete at least. And special teams there wasn't anything last game that was too, other than like they faked the punt, but we didn't have anything terrible happen other than that. The offense looks solid. So I feel like they can get it going and get all 3 units working together.
Okay, you think the offense looks solid? You think it's just more of a talent issue?
Maybe. I think that versus Texas Tech and Oregon. Yeah, I think.
But that's not. Yeah, that's. Eric F in the live chat says, to be successful in offense, you have to play to the strength of your personnel, not force your personnel to do what they're not good at. So, Eric, what do you think they're good at, Eric? I'm just curious what our fans are thinking too. Spencer, what do you think?
Well, we've seen hints in all 3 phases this year of what they are good at, and if we put all 3 of those examples into one game, like we beat Fresno State, we beat Cal, Texas Tech and Oregon, we kind of assume those were losses anyway. But I think if they put together a 3-phase game this week, which they're capable of, we've seen it, like they're ready to do it. You can see in the players' faces now, like they didn't they looked better in terms of like their faces during the game this year, or this week. They looked more motivated. They looked more intentional with what they were doing. So I feel like it's ready to come together. It really is. I have hope, and I don't feel like we're going to regress any more than we have.
Kaz, do you think this is more of a matter of Oregon State's opponent, like kind of a bad draw that Oregon State has to go up against some of the best teams in the country?
I think the Texas Tech, Oregon 2 weeks in a row is just, you played a top 15 team and a top 10 team.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have some pretty big differences, and that's probably the outcome no matter how good you play.
Well, that's, let's see. Scott Stewart in the chat. I was just going to actually talk about the secondary. Maybe it's just me, but I thought our corners didn't turn around and weren't aware of where the ball was a number of times. So I was actually going to say the opposite, in that, yes, we saw them get burned a couple of times, but in a couple of those big pass plays, I would say true freshman Trey Glasper was there. And a couple of those were just completely perfectly placed balls by Dante Moore, and great catches by the receiver. You're going to take your lumps. Like I said, Trey Glasper is a true freshman. I think Bray said today versus Cal, he was still 17. So young guy learning on the fly. Reminds me of, Keenan Lewis. That was a rough couple of games stretch there when they were true freshmen, but they will get better. But yeah, I think it was a rough draw. You look at when these schedules were made, years ago, or, years in advance. Yes, Oregon was going to be up there, but Texas Tech, I don't think anybody really saw that was going to be a juggernaut. So all in all, I think, there was some positives. And I think, are we all in agreement that this team kind of has some pieces that we could see if they could just finally get it clicking? But that's what makes Cal and Fresno so frustrating, is that those two games, were kind of, they felt, well, Fresno State, they completely shot themselves in the foot. Cal, there was some big mistakes that, Cal was a good, I thought Cal looked really good. And then they go out and lose this week to San Diego State, which, I don't know. College football is wacky. And I think this is another, this is the transfer portal and all the, kind of the unknowns, again, kind of rearing its head. But okay. You guys good? Moving on from Oregon. Do you want to talk about Civil War some more? We good?
It was good to see Conrad Hussey get in there and make an impact play. Like,
He almost had a pick.
I know, right? Yeah, it was good. I mean, and that, like, the last thing I'll say about Oregon, he's probably still trying to figure out what he's doing in our scheme. He literally got here last week. So, maybe there's some confusion on his end, but like he looked the part. He looked like he was a 4-star coming out of high school. Yeah.
I have some connections down in Florida, and talked to somebody down there that knows Florida State pretty well, and said he's a baller, that he is a complete baller. Will do some good things. He, so Coach Bray addressed him a little bit today too, because the new depth chart that comes out, which one of my biggest frustrations is that Oregon State doesn't update their depth chart very often, but they did this week. So couple little tidbits here. Exodus Ayers is no longer listed as the number 1 cornerback. So that is one piece. Still no, address of what's going on there. But the second piece was Conrad Hussey was named with, I think it was Cy as nickel, starting nickel. It was an or situation. So Coach Bray did talk about him, and just, he's learning. I think he was going to start. He started last week, kind of running with the special teams group, and then it became apparent just how ready he was. They moved him in kind of the third team, and by last Thursday he was kind of with the first and second team. So that's how good, he is. So, like I said, true sophomore. So he has 2 years to play 3 years to play 2. Sorry. So no, good call on that, because he did have a pass on him, but he also, kind of looked a little out of place. But first week in the system, he looked pretty damn good for being in the first week in the system. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if you guys have checked out the rundown, but I wanted to take a look at some of the stats. And I think if we're talking stats, I think there's a lot of things that I'm going to mention that you're going to be like, duh, that's completely obvious. But there's a couple of things that kind of surprised me when I went through this. So reasons why Oregon State is losing and why. Well, we're looking right here at scoring over, 4 games. Beavers are averaging 15.75 points a game. So we'll say 16 points a game, while the opponents are averaging 39. It's not going to cut it, you guys. Oregon State has to score in the at least 27. Well, if your defense is giving up 39, they better score 42. But that was not a shocker, but it's an eye-opening one. Rushing yards, the defense is giving up 180 yards a game, while the Beavers are only rushing for 70. So, Spencer, did you have something?
Yeah, it just.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No, the rushing attack just looks anemic, and we know Hank can ball. We know that. It's just, again, going back to Bray's comment in the presser, like, you're not finishing your blocks. But yeah, that number jumps out to me the most. Just because we're so deep in that room.
And it's something that I think Oregon State has been used to, right, Davis? I mean, you're used to just seeing Oregon State run the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, like, to have Hankerson and Alla as your 1 and 2 and only 70 yards.
Yeah. Eric F. Murphy still looks uncomfortable in the passing game. The run game seemed improved, so we should lean into the adjustments made. Yeah, and that was another piece that Bray brought up. So passing yards isn't quite as glaring. Oregon State's averaging 249 yards. Defense is giving up 285. But then you look at total yards. Beavers are averaging 319. Defense giving up 465. That's too many yards to give up. But again, you go back to that Oregon and Texas Tech game. That's going to skew things a little bit. Coach Bray talked about he felt that Malik was still trying to shoulder too much and trying to do too much. Kaz, do you see that? Do you think that could be an issue, that, Malik's just trying to do too much and not trusting those around him?
I could totally see that. Yeah. I didn't see that much, but since you bring that up, I can see that for sure.
There was one play though that, like, seriously, he could have totally picked up a first down.
Running.
It was running. It was like this wide open, and he started to kind of run, and then he stopped and kind of threw this pat. It was incomplete, and we just had a punt, but he could have picked it up. It just was like, run. Penalties. Okay, this one surprised me a little bit because, we talked about, and the fans have been talking about all the false start penalties. And first of all, I thought the O-line did really, really well at Autzen, because after all the false starts they got versus, Texas Tech and Fresno, I thought, oh crap, like this could be trouble at Autzen. Penalty-wise, Oregon State is averaging 31 yards per game. Opponents are averaging 52. Oregon State has had 19 penalties this season to opponents' 26. So there's a positive. There's a bright spot if you want to look at that.
We only had 2 against Oregon, so.
Yeah. No, I thought that game was pretty clean, all in all.
Yeah.
So you guys, I think this one stands out. Now, granted, the past 2 weeks against the 2 toughest opponents, Oregon State has now 3 sacks, but they've given up 6. Are you surprised that, with all the talk about the offensive line, that there haven't been more sacks on Malik?
Yes.
Yes.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I mean, I actually think this line has done better pass pro than run block.
100%.
Okay, Davis, you have something to say?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. They definitely have been better in pass pro.
So looking at the stats, so Spencer, what stands out to you as like the biggest glaring red flag?
Time of possession is wild. I mean, we're right there in time of possession.
I know, but after Oregon, I thought that would be totally right.
But it goes to show the lack of efficiency, in our offense. I would think they would, it says we're at 29.50 and the opponents are just over 30. I would say we would be like maybe 20 and the other teams are at 40, given what we've seen so far. And it's just like, it's kind of baffling in a way. That's an interesting.
Well, in Oregon, it
fact.
was. I mean, like the second half of the Oregon, like I said, it was 23-7. So that just put so much more pressure on everything. That one surprised me too. But was it Cass? Was it you that was saying 70 yards rushing, or was that Spencer?
I think it was Spencer.
That's a huge piece too, I think. And And it comes down to just the disjointedness of the offense. Because I don't think we've seen, aside from a drive here and there, I think Fresno had a couple actually that looked cohesive and they strung together play after play after play. We've just seen a lot of disjointedness. Let's see, we have John Smith. We cannot keep relying on Murphy to play hero ball and save us most of the time. I don't know what adjustments need to be made though. He does try to, he overthrows, but some of that is because you get behind the sticks too much, and you run and either get 1 or 2 yards or negative yards or first down, and then you try to, get something the second, but then it's 3rd and long, you have to throw. And then it makes the defense's job even easier. So they have to be more efficient on 1st and 2nd down, I think is kind of the answer, not the answer, but something that would help. Davis, any numbers there stand out to you?
I'd say the rushing only 70 yards per game. But yeah, like you said, Oregon State's a running team. Like in past years, like it's been our identity. And this year we don't have an offensive identity, I don't think. If we do, it would be more passing. But yeah,
it's that's my biggest question is what is that identity? Rip City, how much of a concern is there of players redshirting and transferring mid-season if the season continues to falter? You have any thoughts on that?
You can't control that, right? That's that. I don't know. That's a hard question to answer because these are 18 to 21 year olds. It's just they're unpredictable. I don't worry about that because really that's just not something we can worry about right now. We've got too many other issues.
If that happens, the players are going to have to decide to redshirt now. If they have a redshirt available, they'd have to do it now if they've been playing because 4 games in. They're also talking about changing, or it might have already changed the transfer window. Instead of 2 or 3, there's going to be 1. I think they're still trying to figure out if that's in December or if that's in January. That's huge because right now with the spring, you have guys, jumping. I do think, and then I don't even, what transpires then with NIL? If you've signed an NIL contract, can you, sit out? So there's a lot of questions there. Coach Bray was asked something similar today in his press conference, and he said that wasn't a concern. So I don't think it's anything to be too worried about. And again, you can't really control it. Up tempo. Yeah. Okay. So rumbling CDS says up the tempo on offense and more jet sweep. Abso-freaking-lutely. Last year we saw Gundy's offense was up tempo a lot of times. They went quick. We haven't seen any of that. It's all been slow developing plays, slow huddles. And yeah, I think you do. We throw in some fly sweeps. You throw in the fly motion. We've been seeing that more, but run some more plays off of that. Maybe it's time for some little slants, some little, bubble screens. Just to kind of, if the running game's not going to work, you have to have some kind of a short game to keep the defense honest. Okay, guys. We are going to talk Houston after a quick break. But again, if you're not a member of BeaverBlitz, now's the time to join. So much great discussion in the Lodge of BeaverBlitz and behind the scenes info. Make sure to grab your subscription now. Also have some great content coming around basketball, men's and women's. Spencer's been doing an amazing job with that. And then you guys, baseball season's not too far away as well. So always something going on at BeaverBlitz, along with recruiting then that's a year-long deal. So join us in the Lodge at BeaverBlitz. We'll be right back with the second half of the damn podcast. Okay, guys, welcome back to the second half of the damn podcast. We might not have solved all the Beavers' offensive woes, but a new day dawns, short week. Houston Cougars are coming to town. Big 12, they're 3-0. I think when I looked at this in August, I thought, okay, that should be a winnable game. Now I'm not so sure, guys. So I'm going to give you a quick little rundown of Houston. They're 3-0. They have beat Stephen F. Austin 27-0, beat Rice 35-9, and then beat Colorado last week 36-20. Give me your thoughts here, Davis. What do you think of Houston?
I'd say their 3 opponents. Colorado is a like talented team. I think they're not what they were last year, but Rice is historically or recently hasn't been a good football program, and I don't know anything about Stephen F. Austin. So I mean, they haven't played crazy good competition in my eyes, but they have played turnover-free football. They have the best turnover differential in the nation right now. So that's something that Oregon State has not been good at.
Yeah. No, you talk about looking at stats. This is a solid team. They want to run first, but then they're also completing passes at a 63% clip. So I know, Spencer, you've talked about Connor Wigman, their quarterback. What do you like about him?
He is a massive chip on his shoulder from his Texas A&M experience. I think he's going to be a name that people are going to really notice at the end of the year. I don't know the specifics of what happened at A&M, but he's been quoted as saying, "Yeah, like this is to prove all the doubters in A&M that I'm the real deal." Furthermore, if you look at these stats, like Houston's opponent passing yards per game is 5th in the nation. Opponent yards per game is 9th in the nation, and opponent touchdowns is 11th in the nation. Like, this is a sneaky team. Yes, they haven't played top tier talent right now, but still, those numbers match up, or they line up to point that to they're a really good team. And I think they were picked mid-pack in the Big 12.
Yeah, but now that you said they're sitting 3-0.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it begins and ends with Connor, though. I mean, he drives the ship, and I think he's going to continue all year with that.
So Kaz, not only did he run or pass for 500, has he passed for 569 yards and 4 TDs in 3 games? He's also a runner too. Does that scare you that you have a true dual threat guy at quarterback?
100%. That's like our Achilles when it comes to defense, and I think it could be really bad if he gets any room. Yeah. And he's not as scared of contact at all. If you watch any of that Colorado game, he took some big hits.
Yeah, he's a bigger kid. He's a bigger quarterback. But if he's not running the ball, they have a good running back in Dean Connors. He's 3 touchdowns, 271 yards. And then they have a couple, the receivers, none of them popped out as like huge numbers, but like 9, or you got Steven Johnson, 191 yards. Their tight end. That's another thing that scares me. Their tight end, Tanner Koziel. Oregon State has trouble sometimes with those big tight ends. How do you see Oregon State keeping Wigman behind in the pocket, and then also keeping that tight end under check? Davis.
I mean, I think we just need to have a spy on Wigman all game. They like to run like just RPOs more, or like just play action with him because he's very able to run. So I think you need to have a spy on him most plays. But yeah, tight end, I don't know what to do about that.
I mean, do you go more nickel? But then you might need a bigger body to bring, I don't know. I don't know what the plan is.
I'd say you probably go more nickel. I mean, see what Hussey can do.
He's a big guy. And then from the couple names for you to know heading into this week. Again, short week. Game is Friday night, guys. So linebacker Jalen Garner with 20 tackles on the season. Safety Carlos Allen, 17. And then they have a strong cornerback by the name of Latrell McCutcheon, 16 tackles so far. So those are a couple names to keep an eye on as we get kind of into this week, as we start learning about, looking here at we've got a lot of comments coming in. Keith OSU, let's go Beavs beat Houston, please. Yes, please. He's asking nice, football gods. Okay, here's a couple of stats since I'm really kind of in the stat mode this week. I looked at Houston. Guys, Houston's averaging 32.7 points a game. You know how much they're allowing? 9.7. That's comparing to Oregon State our offense is only putting up 16. I rounded up there. Do you think Oregon State's going to be able to put up points against this Houston defense? Cass?
Yeah, I think they're going to put up more than 16.
You do?
100%. I think
Oh my
so.
gosh, a hot take early.
Yeah, hot take early. I think we're going to get, I'm going to say more than 24 points Friday night.
Okay.
Since everyone's back in school, hopefully there's a good student section. Night game. It will be 10:30 their time when we kick off. I think it's gonna be a rowdy
They're
crowd.
gonna be tired. Davis is
Yeah.
laughing. Davis is a student there too. Davis is like, heck no, nobody's going to the game. Are they going, Davis?
I hope
Make
so.
Freshmen
I
go.
mean,
Oh my god.
yeah,
What else
the
is
freshmen
better go.
Freshmen will go, I'd say. I mean, I think it'll be better for sure with school being started.
Yeah.
But still don't know how many
Friday
students.
night's hard. I mean, it's like, and I don't want to try to make excuses, but I'll be there obviously, but it's our local high school's homecoming game. So that's if you have kids playing football or Friday nights are tough, but no, all the OSU students should be there, but freshmen, you have no excuse. This is your first big time football game. You got to go and be loud. And I think they even teach them. Don't they teach like freshman orientation? Don't they all go down to Reser and like they teach them the chants and all that?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I didn't do that, but I know they go into
Davis.
Well,
Davis.
I already know how to do that.
Davis, please. My gosh, you're fired. You're going to be fired here in a minute. Okay, I'm teasing. Davis. Okay. What do the Beavs need to do? And then what do you want to see? We're going to go around the group here. Last week it was energy. That was kind of the overriding thought. Spencer, what do the Beavs need to do to win first? And what do you want to see from this group, win or lose?
Yeah, a couple things. I think if they can slow this team down, because their team is fast, and rack up, the longer drives, keep the offense off the field, which we've shown we can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a big key. They also need to get turnovers. Like Houston, they've had how many turnovers? They've had 7 turnovers so far this year against pretty lacking talent. Like I can see us winning that battle and maybe getting 1 or 2 picks or fumble recovery or something like that, because we haven't had anything go our way like that. Like that's been super key, right? Yeah. And so I feel like it's going to come down to that at the end.
Which we've talked about. We've had so many throughout the first 4 games of the momentum killers, and not many momentum drivers. Okay, what do you want to see then?
Me?
Yeah, just you want opportunistic.
Yeah, I want to see. I want to see the energy. I want to see Reser fuel these guys. I want to see these guys fuel Reser. Let's go. That's what I want to see.
Yes. Yes. I don't have a ability to block. So, you caught yourself. You didn't, let the F-bomb fly, but
I did not.
It was close. It was close. Kaz, what do the Beavs need to do to win this game? And what do you want to see?
Control the pace of the game.
Okay.
I agree with Spencer. Longer drives, turnovers for sure is huge, and just no costly mistakes. And I'd like to see the run game get established early, hopefully. And if not, then Malik is just on one Friday night.
Okay. Well, no, but so that was a good point that you wanted to see them kind of control. That means the run game has to be
right. True.
Running. So, no, I like it. So, which is it going to be though? Is the run game going to be firing, or is Malik going to be firing?
Both.
Oh, right.
We'll do that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Kaz and Spencer are both super positive today. Like super positive. Davis, your turn.
Say what we need to do to win is, everything Cass said. We need to control the ball, control the game. And we need to capitalize when we're in the red zone. We need to score on almost every drive, even if
we need to get to the red zone.
Yeah. We need to get down there and put up points, just even if it's a field goal, if we can hopefully make those. But we need to do that. And what I want to see, like Spencer said, a packed Reser would be amazing to see. I remember against Utah. That was one of the most packed games I've seen Reeser, and they were a top 10 team when they came and played us, and we beat them.
That was a Friday night game too, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we beat them pretty handily, I think.
Yeah, no, you guys all have really good points because and I don't even I say you guys talk about packed Reeser. I just want to see a packed student section. Us old folks are going to be lame, I think, at some level. So I don't have a huge expectation for the older fans, but the students, you're right there. Like, go, be loud, be crazy.
ESPN game. Like, this is their
ESPN
time
game
to get their 15 seconds of fame.
That's right. But you guys all have good points because I do think Oregon State's going to need to control the clock because they do have an explosive offense. So the best way to keep that offense off the field is for our offense to have it. So I like it. Okay. Kaz or Davis, are you as positive about this week as Spencer and Kaz are?
I think it'll be a good game. I think this could be the week that it's just all put together.
Okay. Let's hope so. Because things are getting kind of dire, Beaver fandom right now. I like the positivity. Like I said, I do think there was some glimmers there that we saw, glimpses of some good things. And I do agree that if they could figure out a way to put it all together, there's some good things there. And after Houston, not that it gets super easy, but there are some games that Oregon State, should be able to compete with. Okay, this was not on the rundown. I don't know what the line is right now, but when I looked this morning, it was 13.5. Houston was a 13.5 point favorite. Spencer, do you take the Beavs and the points, or do you?
Yeah, for sure.
Cass?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, you're not quite as positive there. Davis, how about you?
Yeah, I think it's 12.5 now.
Is it 12? Okay.
So
yeah.
I think so. I think you'd take the Beavs.
Okay. Well, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a fun one. I like those night games when the weather's decent. You guys ready for hot takes? Kaz texted me last night and says, "Hey, can we do?" And I'm up for anything, you guys. So you guys know, even our listeners, if you guys have an idea of something that'd be really fun to do, I'm all ears. So Kaz want to do hot takes. I said, as long as it's not, slandering anyone and not some illegal take, then I'm good. So this is going to be our anything goes hot take segment. Let's hear what we got. We're going to start with Kaz because this is his baby.
I have two.
Hot takes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
First
no,
one.
none of this kinda. Kaz, this is a hot take. You got to own this.
Yeah, I get it's two. First one, I think this is the biggest game of the year.
We don't think. Come on,
This
Kaz.
is
Own it.
the biggest game
There
of
we
the year.
go. Okay.
0-4. I think if we lose this, it's going to be really bad rest of the season. We probably lose the locker room if we haven't already.
Okay.
I think it'll be very telling. I mean, we can still win 8 games and go 8-4, right? It's possible. And I think this game is going to set us up for the rest of the season.
Okay.
And then the second one, if we lose, full reset on the coaching staff.
Oh, full reset.
Full
Like
clean
the
house,
whole-
get rid of everyone.
Okay.
Bring in some new one. Gruden, Will Stein, Billy Napier from Florida, because he's going to get fired soon for sure.
Oh, you don't want him.
He's a really good recruiter, though.
Yeah, but can he recruit to Corvallis?
He could bring DJ Lagway.
Yeah, but he can't win in Florida. How do you expect him to win in Oregon
He
State?
can win in the Mountain West, I think. Or the new Pac-12. Sorry.
Okay. So if the Beavers lose, but yeah, you just were telling me how they're going to win this one because it's the biggest game of the year. But if they lose,
I'm a delusional Beaver fan.
that's okay. Hey, we're all a little delusional at this point. Okay, wait. I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. But I like that you came armed with names. What about Luke Fickell? He's being talked about too. No,
He's gone, but I don't want him.
Oh, here, Nick Volker. Well, if we're gonna dream big, by God, we're dreaming big. Urban Meyer.
Why not Nick Saban?
Yeah.
Bring him back.
Yeah, but see, Urban knows the Northwest.
Mhm.
That's true.
That's the ticket there. I mean, Nick Saban, I love him, and he's a kind of weird dude, but I don't know if him and Miss Terry would do great in Corvallis, Oregon.
I think he's
Urban-
like in College Game Day right now.
Yeah, I do too. And wouldn't you? Like,
Yeah.
no recruiting, because that's what was bugging him, was the whole going out and like kids asking for all this money. Urban Meyer, like, he's not going to leave Big Noon to come to Oregon State, but I like the dream scenario here. Okay, so you're talking like, would you do this like immediately, like boom, blow it all up? If you're Scott Barnes,
If we lose, like, I think after the season.
okay, got it.
But yeah, I think that needs to happen if this goes south.
Okay, so how far south? I mean, if Oregon State finishes 8-4 or 6, let's say they finish 6-6.
You make the change.
Okay.
I think 8-4, you consider it, maybe some hard talks, but maybe give them another season.
Okay. What about, is it all or nothing? Like blow up the whole thing, or would you be okay? Like, let's say they go 6-6 and you get rid of a couple coordinators, or you get rid of a couple coaches.
I think it's all or nothing. I think Bray I don't think he's really fit for a head coach, and I think he might know that a little bit. I think he might want to go back to, a defense coordinator spot. That's where he's more comfortable. That's where he can focus more on rather than everything. So, I mean, you can maybe keep Bray as defense coordinator, but I think overall everyone start fresh with the new Pac-12 starting next year.
Okay. There's hot take. Okay. Let's see. Who wants to go next? Rochambeau? Davis, you want to go?
I'll go. I don't think it's crazy. I'm just, I think after starting 0-4, I still think we'd end up at least 6-6.
Okay. See? Okay, then Cass does 6-6. You blow up the whole coaching staff. What are your thoughts there, Davis?
I would want to keep Bryant defensive coordinator. I think he is a good defensive coordinator. Like he said, like Cass said, I don't know if he's loving head coach.
Would anybody love being head coach right now?
Probably not. But
I mean,
yeah, I think a reset could be good, but I also, if you turn a new page and if you started 0-4, but you went 6-2 the back half of the season, that might be a sign that they're figuring it out, working together. But yeah.
Okay. There you go. Okay, Spen. Oh, we got another comment. We got a bench Malik. He doesn't fit. Play Jabari. There's a team Jabari. Okay, well, that's actually a question. There's questions for damn questions. Okay, Spencer. Hot take time.
Mine's more big picture.
Okay.
I think Phil Knight will end up donating to Oregon State a substantial amount, because having Oregon State and Oregon both good, helps Nike and it helps the state and it helps everyone. And with that money, you don't bring in any other players than Midwest O-linemen and nasty defensive linemen. That, like, you focus on the trenches and then get a good cast behind you.
Yes.
Like to see what I want with God, I forget his name from last year, McCoy. Like, I wonder if he had a solid O-line, what he would be capable of.
Yeah.
Like what he would have been capable of. Like, that's rather than spend all our, $1.5 million out of however many million we have on one player and then $500,000 for two tight ends. Like, let's get some big guys in the trenches.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is you can spend all this money on a great quarterback, but if he has nobody to block for him or to help him out, like you said, offensive defensive line, it's not sexy, guys. Nobody gets excited, but I'm telling you, Spencer's going to the Midwest and get some of those, Midwest
corn-fed boys.
Corn-fed, cow-fed. Let's go. You got something?
Yeah, we'll kind of touch on that Oregon game, not next year, but when we do that again gets a lot bigger because the ACC just announced they're going to 9 conference games, 1 non-conference. It's Power 4. So that gives us less of bigger name teams that we get to play in non-conference.
Yes, good point.
So that
It just would be a lot more fun if it was a little more even playing field.
mm-hmm.
But this is. I'm gonna wait till I'm probably the bye week. And I want actually, if you're interested in this, I think we do a whole podcast on the whole house settlement. I need to dig into that a little more and kind of what that entails, and if there's going to be some type of a roster kind of like salary caps, and are there ability to sign guys to multi-year contracts, because that right now I think is the problem with all of this is you can't just build a roster. This is impossible for coaches and everybody, because if you have a guy, you're trying to build a team around a quarterback and some O linemen, and then all of a sudden they're all bolting and you're trying to find it's not going to happen. So anyway, that's something I'm going to work on. Spencer?
For that, if we do that podcast, maybe a potential guest would be Alan Thayer down in Eugene. He's Beavers Behind Enemy Lines. He's done all the legal analysis on like the Joe Beaver show, and Canzano actually had him on. I bet he would be open to coming in.
Because I just think there's a lot, and I'm starting to get some questions about it, and I don't feel like I fully grasp that. So I think it's something that we could all kind of, the 4 of us could kind of dig into a little bit, maybe for the bye week, and just kind of help us and everybody else. Okay, I like the hot takes, guys. This is going to be a weekly thing, so be ready each week for your hot take. Nice job. Now we need a sponsor for Kaz's hot takes.
We do.
I don't know what we need.
Jamba Juice.
Jamba Juice, Buffalo Wild Wings. What do you like? Like, we gotta
Buffalo Wild Wings, or what's hot takes? What's that show where they eat the hot wings?
Like the hot. I think
hot
it is
wings.
hot.
Is it hot wings?
I think it might be hot takes, honestly.
Is it?
See, we gotta figure this out. We think, So before you guys jumped on, or before we all jumped on, I was snacking on. Okay, they're super good, guys, and I've been on this like kick to like eat. And this is not healthier, but my teenage son got me hooked on them. These things called Drizzleicious. They're like rice cakes with like, oh my God, they're so freaking amazing. Like, as I'm sitting here getting my camera set up, I'm like, we need Drizzleicious to sponsor us. Anyway, that's a totally aside. We got some damn questions though. You guys want to dive into some damn questions?
Yep.
Dwayne Hicks, this is actually, is NIL incentive based? It's not, but should it be? There's a question. But remember, it's not pay for play either. That's what they say. Wink, wink. Because signing some autographs somehow entitles you to $1.5 million. That is where the house settlement, I think, is going to come into play. It's revenue sharing from a university level, but now there is a clearinghouse for all these deals. So you can't just pay someone $1 million and say they're going to sign some autographs and do a radio ad. It has to be kind of going rate for whatever they're doing. So, like I said, that we're going to dig into that because I think that's important. Okay, from the Lodge at BeaverBlitz, we've got a couple questions. Beaver Fan 2021. Defense seemed to play with some fire on Saturday. Offense completely opposite. Seems like none of the offensive players want to be on the field. Body language is terrible. Can this be turned around? What do you think? I didn't think the body language seemed horrible.
Not like it was at Texas Tech.
Exactly. There were no finger pointing and
nope.
Yeah. Guys were helping each other up. This Beaver Fan 2021 is getting less confident by the week. Maybe you're more confident now after listening to the damn podcast. Maybe. I don't think I don't think it's there yet. And I don't think the locker room, I don't think they've lost the locker room yet. That can happen. But, I talked to someone down in Corvallis on Friday and said it was an amazing week of practice. And so a great energy. So I would imagine having students back on campus too would have to bring up the energy around because these guys have been in Corvallis since mid-July, where it's quiet and boring. And now you're getting some students back. Things are kind of coming alive again. So maybe that helps morale as well. Squeaky clean. Is there anything that can be done to salvage the season, or should we just look forward to 2026? Okay, Spencer.
It's too early to answer that question. We don't have a big enough sample size. Sarah mentioned on she was on with Parker this today, and she said we had one of the hardest strength of schedules so far this year out of the whole country. It's way too early to say jump or get on the ship.
Yeah. Kaz, you
Did I
agree?
say that right?
Yeah, I mean, we can still go 8-4, so that's be good. I don't think we should look to 2026 quite yet.
We're not even out of September, guys. Davis?
Yeah, I think our first 4 games of the season were our hardest. I mean, so starting 0-4 is not good, but those 4 were probably the hardest on the schedule. So it's not saying it's going to get easy, but easier, I think.
Yeah. Keith, Go Beavs 2K, said the team had way worse body language in Eugene in 2023 than this year's game. Absolutely. That was when they found out, like, it was all rumbling out that Coach Smith was leaving, and that was not a good locker room. That had gone south. Go Beavs 42. I want to see what Gutridge can do. He was awesome his senior year in high school, and the 2 guys in front of him haven't shown much to get excited about. First of all, there's 3 guys because Tia is ahead of him. You guys, is there anybody more popular on a losing team than the backup quarterbacks? Honestly. Davis?
Oh, unless they have a good punter or kicker.
Okay. Hey, speaking of, the punting on Saturday in Eugene was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Windsor was insane.
Windsor was so there was another, that's a huge positive. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but he has pledged $1 for every yard he punts this season. I think it's ALS research.
Yeah, it's all signers.
That's cool.
So I think he had over 260 yards. So gosh.
He had like 466, I think.
In punts, just on okay, so it was way earlier. So man, that's pretty amazing. So you have to look at that. But I think he's asking for people to help match that, not do it for him, but help match to raise as much money as he can. So AJ Windsor, game ball to you because that was pretty awesome. No, it's not Gutridge time. Davis, you saw a lot of fall camp.
If anything, Jabari Johnson, I think he's going to be really good. I mean, that comment said he hasn't shown much to get excited about. I mean, he hasn't had much to show. Like, he hasn't had much playing time. He's played in each game, but
it's like a snap or like
it's like 6 snaps.
Yeah.
Like it's like he doesn't even get a full 4 downs, and he'll get subbed back out.
Yeah.
So if he gets in a game and gets his rhythm going, I'm super high on Jabari.
He's grown a lot since last year.
And
a lot.
Tia was a very accurate quarterback in camp.
Yeah. Tia surprised me because a lot of times freshmen get kind of happy feet, and he was super poised for a true freshman. Cass, is it time you want to see a different quarterback?
No.
Not
yet.
No, not yet. Spencer?
No, and I think they're going to give Malik as long a leash as they can because some people paid a lot of money for him to be here, so they don't want to see him riding the bench. I mean, that's just.
And he's got a huge arm.
The natives will be restless. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so that just made me think of something though. Do you like that version of college football where you feel like you have to play somebody just because they're making a ton of money?
No, I don't. Because it's not college football. Now we're talking about the pros.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting. This whole thing. Like we talk about one thing and then it feels like we could all keep going down little rabbit holes. But okay, so scared of the Beaver. I know going into the season, the 2 big questions were the line on both sides of the ball. But 4 horrendous games into the season, what is the biggest glaring problem as you see it? Is it okay? Well, and it was offensive identity, lack of effort, coaching, something else. Spencer.
I think it's experience, and a lot of these guys are green and they're young. I mean, you said yourself, Trey Glasper was 17 on Cal. Like these guys are young.
Even the O-line, you look at the line, aside from Van Wells, it's a pretty young group or inexperienced group. I mean, Tyler Moreno been hurt. Jacob Strand had some experience from last year, but the guards are super green. Sikorsky, is he a sophomore, redshirt freshman? He's young.
I'm not sure because he got thrown in on defense
Yeah, he got thrown
last
in.
year, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. So he was a freshman. He was a true freshman last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, and yeah, he was one of those guys that they. So it is an experience, but there's some guys, you know, that, like I said, they're growing. But it's an interesting time. One question that I had heard, it was in the lodge after the game about injuries. People were, and this came up last year, and it's come up whenever injuries happen. Is it a training issue when guys are out? Just remember, when guys are out because of injury, it's not always a training related injury. It's not always because they tore something. Every week there's several guys sitting out in concussion protocol. So something just to keep in the back of your mind. We don't get information on why they're sitting out, but it's not always an injury that's training related. Guys, look at this. What a fun show. And I think Kaz and Spencer have me a little more excited. Davis, students are going to be there because Davis Doan says so. Davis will be there, guys. Davis will be there on the sideline before the game, so come see him. I'm Angie, Spencer, Davis, Kaz. We'll be back next week for another episode of the Damn Podcast.